Okay. Hello and welcome to the Dismal Tide. Oh, that's not the name of the show. It's First Reformed Take. And we are here. It's Mike and Seth. Seth, to open the show, what are you currently hating on?
Um, in general or specific or
I
what?
don't know. I wanted to start with like something we could do every time.
What am I
And
currently hating on?
yeah.
Um, Probably the fact that I fucked up my finger playing with my kids at their basketball practice the other night. I think it's better, but it's also possible I ripped a tendon in it. It's not bending properly. Um, I my every so often I get reminded I'm not 19 years old, and it's usually when I try to do anything athletic with my kids, and it just goes poorly for me. Um,
Okay. That's
so
a fair answer.
I'm hating on the frailty of the human body.
Right. I'm hating on the Oscars. I was watching a
Yes.
bunch of clips of The Apprentice right before this, and that movie was really good now that I think of it. And they should do what Brendo does and wait 5 years. He's right about this. I've come around to his thinking more and more. But we are not here for Oscar talk, which I don't participate in other than when I do. We are here for this new segment. Seth, have I shared the screen correctly? I have. It's
Yeah,
up
yeah,
for
I can see
everyone.
the Jeopardy board just fine. Do you want to
I
explain
do.
sort of your thought process behind what these sort of grab bag episodes are going to be?
I've already made like five mistakes, so I'm going to slow down and
Okay.
explain. So we only have 40 minutes on these shows because we go by Zoom calls, right? And
Mm.
I don't really need to be talking about the NBA for more than 40 minutes. We can usually get it out, but sometimes we don't really know what to talk about. And so rather than just not record, I kind of came up with a Jeopardy style way of gamifying conversation where I would create five categories we could talk about, each with a value that represents the minutes for which we will talk about. Behind them all is a topic, a more specific topic about the category. It might be a long story, it might just be odds, it might be really obvious. You'll kind of see it as it goes. You will have control of the board, you will dictate the conversation, and I will kind of ping pong back and forth. Some of these are things I want to talk about, some of them are things you said you want to talk about. Our five categories for tonight's show are who should Thompson fight next? Laughing at the 76ers and the Mavericks, a favorite of mine. Current award odds. They are ranked by how interesting I find them. Contenders or pretenders, who besides the big four, which I consider to be the Celtics, Thunder, Nuggets, and Cavs, can win the title. I do think maybe there are a few there. And Hope or No Man's Land, just kind of vaguely talking about these rebuilding kind of teams that are in the playoffs but might be hopeless forever, or might have some hope. Trey Young's Hawks are on the board here. They are the example of this that I would give.
Okay, so if I'm understanding this correctly, if I pick like Amen Thompson for 300, there'll be something on there and we have to discourse on it for 3 minutes. Is that
That's
correct?
right. Would you like me to start with that?
Yeah, because I originally pitched an entire show of who should Amen flagrantly foul next. Since I figured that as part of our ongoing desire to be as contrarian as possible within the basketball content creation space, given all the pearl clutching over Amen's two hard fouls on two of the more annoying players in the NBA,
You
personality
follow
wise,
Luca?
anyway. What?
You follow Luca?
No, Tyler, Hero, and Giannis. Now, granted, I like
Well,
watching
Hero
Giannis
is
play,
annoying.
but his aura has been pretty cornball for the last couple of seasons. But anyway, let's do Amen. Just to provide context, although I'm sure anybody watching this knows, Amen had two basically body slammed Tyler Hero and Giannis
This
this
doesn't count for
season.
the time. by
No,
the
and
way.
and people are starting to talk about like lengthy suspensions and calling him a
They
thug
should
and
give
this and
him a
that.
medal.
Yes, he has not gone over he has not gone after anybody who I think at least a general contrarian in me and a Celtics rooting contrarian in you don't find detestable. We already fought Giannis. How did
Well,
we
that's why I'm giving it the minute, okay? It was
Okay,
meant to start the
that's the minute. That's the minute.
conversation. So
Okay.
this one counts. We've done that one.
Okay. All right, so let's go to Amen for 300. Oof. Okay. The answer I'm going to say is technically no, in the sense that the fights need to come in the context of hooping. I mean, he needs to flagrantly foul someone on the court, not necessarily with the intent of injuring them, but with the intent of roughing them up and establishing that he's got that dog in him.
I
So
would
there's not
argue
really
that he is fighting Adam Silver through proxy by bringing a little metal back to the game.
that's an interesting point. You know, a lot of people have been complaining online that the game's too soft and guys, you know, they don't fight in under the boards as much anymore. And that's what and I think Adam Silver encourages the sort of modern style of
I
play.
do too.
Um, and I personally don't have really a problem with it, but you know, I don't think you can on one hand say you don't like how that the game isn't rough and then complain when a man is hard fouling guys. I mean, certainly he would have been called for a flagrant in 1993, but unless he was doing it to Michael Jordan, he wouldn't be suspended for throwing these guys to the ground. That's just what they used to do. It's we're taking it back to the streets. This is street ball. Real hoopers know. And yes, he should proxy fight Adam Silver, but I do think going after the commissioner of any sport, no matter how much they richly deserve it, is a career limiting move. So
Sure,
no, he should not directly fight Adam Silver, but I believe he should be engaging in a Cold War style proxy war with the court as his Afghanistan.
but I did put this because I do think Adam Silver has this coming, not literally,
Yes.
but um figuratively, because I am so annoyed and tired of the NBA discourse all around, the constant whinging and misery about
Mhm.
it,
Yeah, I
that I
agree.
really think he weirdly has encouraged.
I agree with you. Or he hasn't done enough to discourage
He's
it.
done so little to discourage it that
Right.
he's just let it go. And then if he comes down on Thompson for this, someone who I find as like a genuine joy to watch, who
Oh
I
yeah, Ahmed
I have
Thompson.
I have no fantasy ownership in him. He's probably going to undo me this year. Like I have no investment in the Rockets. I hate Ime. I just
Yeah,
really like the player. I
I
enjoy
agree.
both Thompson twins. He's definitely become one of my guys quickly.
Hmm.
Um, and it's kind of because he pushes against the silver ball aspect of the league a little. He reminds me of a Joe Mazzulla guy. Like Joe Mazzulla said, we needed more fighting in the NBA. And yeah, a little hard fouling doesn't hurt anyone unless it actually does.
Yes. And I will, I just wanted a quick corollary. I will give Giannis credit for saying he bore no ill will over the foul. So Giannis, who has certainly had his aggro moments on court, gets it. But Tyler Hero, if I recall, was a huge whiny baby
Oh,
and
he's a baby.
he sucks. I
Giannis
hate
is
him. I
cool.
hate
We have
watching him.
9 seconds left, but
Okay.
Giannis generally is cool about these
Yeah, I mean
things.
he's
I
sort of
always support
cornball,
him.
but yeah, but his game does revolve around,
Time
you
up.
know.
Go.
All right, all right. Let's do one for you, Waylon. I'm going to take current award odds for 200.
Clutch player of the
Oh
year.
God.
Oh no. And we have here.
This is either 10
Hold on.
seconds or like 10 minutes because I don't even know how to.
I
Oh,
have
you
them
actually
all
have the
up.
odds. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've done this all before.
Ow.
So
Are
these
these
are
the
the
current?
leaders. Current odds. These are
Yeah,
as of today. Uh, how stupid is this award,
it's
first of
very
all?
stupid. I mean, isn't it basically
This one.
just a like they're going to rename I think the NBA Cup MVP after LeBron when he
Uh-huh.
retires, and I think they needed an award to name after Steph, and it's going to be this.
But
They
they're
just
also going to
needed
need a new one to name after Kobe once the All-Star game gets eliminated. So you could use this one
they'll just
for
name it the
Kobe.
Kobe Bryant Four Nations Cup or whatever. It'll
Yeah,
be
that'd be cool.
fine. Um,
Um, Clutch Player of the Year, I think generally goes like there's a whole stat that does it,
really?
but then yeah, like a clutch time value add
Oh yeah,
stat.
yeah. Like what's your yeah? I think Brunson is pretty high up in that. I mean, I'd be surprised if it was anybody besides him. I think he has the media narrative. And like Jokic isn't not clutch, but like that's not what people think of in terms of his game. I mean, people think of, like Dame time or even Trey hitting, late bomb threes. But like Jalen Brunson's whole thing is taking over games late. I mean, I think he's probably got this award on lock.
I do too. I
Um,
think it's probably easier. I don't hate Trey Young just because he has the clutch shot of the year, and this award is so vague that that kind of feels like just enough to go off of. He had that half court winner that was pretty sick. So I don't hate Trey Young at 380. I feel like he could hard carry towards the end, but that's about as much time as we have to talk about clutch players. Um, we have 4 seconds. Yeah, we're done.
Um, okay. Yeah, when you said did award odds, I honestly thought you meant Oscar award odds. So
That'd be,
now that
I
I
thought
understand.
of doing that.
Okay, no, so never mind. I will give one for you, and I will do laughing at Sixers and Mavs for 200.
What do they do?
Oh,
Besides like Toranaga, what
besides
realistically do the
Sevaku.
Mavericks do?
Besides being honorably decapitated,
Yeah.
I don't think they do anything. I think they're going to try to run the team back built around Kyrie and AD. Um, I think, you still have Clay on the wing, and then you have Gafford and Washington as your depth pieces. I'd have to check with their, do they have like anybody that can actually draft this year? Do they
No,
have a pick?
I think
They don't
they're
actually have a
running low
pick.
on picks too.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
got one
no,
back
no,
in 2030.
this says they have their own pick. I'm looking at Tankathon right now.
Okay, great. They have the 16th or 14th pick
Yeah, I mean it's
overall.
going
I
to be
mean,
like very late lotto or very middle of the draft either way, and we'll do the draft pervert episode closer to
draft
May,
time.
draft time. But I do have thoughts on that. But yeah, I mean I think they're just going to run it back. I don't think there is a next move. Harrison has made his bed, and he clearly, no matter how much he has to keep feeding lies about Luca to the media, he's going to lie in
It's
this.
so stupid though. And they have so many bigs. And none of it makes sense. And building around an old Kyrie does not make sense. He's about to bomb the team in a year. We all see it coming. I I don't get it. I know we went over this for an episode, but I've been thinking about it more and more, and I truly don't understand what was going on with it. I don't see any next move for the Mavericks either. I don't see any way out of this, and I don't know how you convince that fan base to show up at all.
I
We
mean,
went over it,
you
but I
cross your
don't get it.
fingers and hope that your prediction that Luca falls off a cliff due to his conditioning in the next 2 years. That still won't
Even
get you
that
the
isn't
fan
enough
base
because
back.
if
No,
you're
I
not
know.
good,
Right.
it doesn't matter, and you've just
Correct.
wasted it.
Okay.
So
Are we?
that's our time for Mavs. Sad. I
Sad.
mean, it's funny to me, but
Okay. Um.
I'm just clearing these out.
Yeah. Because I don't think you did. Yeah. I want to go back to Amen Thompson fighting. Let's do 400. Who do we got? We must have someone juicy.
Um, this is
Come
Tillman
on.
Fertitta is about the Rockets
Like,
and the future of the Rockets because obviously he cannot fight his owner.
well, I mean, Latrell
Although,
Sprewell choked his coach. I mean, I feel like we're eventually going to have a player take a swing at an owner. I mean, especially as sort of the modern discourse of class consciousness and populism and certainly labor versus management continues to grow. It maybe won't happen this decade, but like I think in our lifetimes, a player is going to uh, take a swing at whoever owns the team. I mean,
God, I
and
hope
certainly there
so.
are so many owners who have it coming, and Tillman is one of them. But you seem to have picked this for a specific discourse, Waylon. So
I
what do you want to say
did.
about Tillman?
I wonder about collusion within the NBA
Hmm.
around not giving guys the supermax. I don't know who started this bit. It wasn't me. Might have been I don't know who it was,
Who?
but I don't know who started talking
Well, I
about,
was
but
just
it's
gonna
this
say, who
idea.
hasn't gotten the Supermax though? Who deserved it? That's what I'm
Well,
trying to figure.
Luca,
Well, okay, so you think
via the
there's
trade.
collusion?
I
You
think
think there's
there's
some kind of
collusion
collusion
to
with that?
trade more and more guys on first year deals so that if
Oh,
they're all getting traded around more often,
no one gets
less
a
teams
Supermax.
have to give the supermax. I think that
Hmm.
is in play, and I wonder with Amen Thompson if I mean, he's clearly going to be worth a supermax.
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone's there yet, saying that, but if you know ball, he is like he's super max player. Um, but he's a defensive guy, and now if he's in this fighting, it's scary pearl clutching stuff that we're gonna do. Is this an excuse for Tillman Fertitta? And he is a cheap bastard.
Yes.
Um, to ship him around, move pieces. Yet NBA fans are comfortable with pieces moving. They'll accept it. You can get an equal name to bring excitement. Not every trade needs to be as bad as the Luka trade. I kind of suspect I don't think he'll play his whole career in Houston. I kind of suspect we're going to see more and more of these young guys move. So
It's
that's
an
just my
interesting
thought
theory.
process.
It's an interesting theory, and if Tillman trades him specifically so he can't get the Supermax, yeah, he should be body slamming Tillman for sure. But I don't know. That's several years down the road now, and there is a
Well, it's
part.
like 2 years down the road, right? Because he's
I guess,
on
yeah, it's not
year
that far
two.
off now. Yeah, but still,
It's
I tend you make a persuasive argument, and if it starts happening, I wouldn't be surprised. But I also tend to think that the Luka trade is just an isolated incident of the Adelsons being cheap and Harrison being a aggro dumbass hard case who just was mad that Luca was not running like 17 miles a day or whatever. So I think it could go either way. As you put it, we are walking on the knife's edge.
we
So
are on the knife's
we are on the
edge
knife's edge.
for
Okay. Do
sure.
we still have time left on this topic?
We have like a half minute if we want. We can move
Okay.
early.
No, we can just discuss in what ways do we want to see Amen Thompson hypothetically injure Tillman Fertitta? Do we want to
Oh,
see him do we want to see him break him on a wheel or
no,
possibly do some kind of
I wouldn't
rack?
say anything that specific. I'd say like a pinky injury. You remember like season 8 of season 1, episode 8 of Lost, where they put the bamboo shoots under Sawyer's
Yes,
fingernails?
yes, that made me. I have a
That would
thing.
hypothetically be interesting.
I actually genuinely have a thing about finger injuries.
Yeah,
One of
that
the
messed with me when I was
the most
13.
horrifying scenes in a movie to me was Syriana when they pull out George Clooney's fingernails when they're torturing him.
Yeah,
That's why I brought up the finger injury at the outset. Like
right. That's
I'm a
why I'm
huge
thinking of it.
baby about hurting my hands. I just am, and seeing people experience any kind of hand injury is deeply off-putting, unless it's someone who richly deserves it, of which there are many, many people we could name. Okay, we can move on. All right,
Board
yeah, we
is
haven't.
yours.
Let's go to the right side of the board here. Let's shift the Overton window to the right, like everything else in this country. Hope or No Man's Land for 200.
Oh, we had a whole episode we were gonna do about the Sacramento Kings who sit in 10th place
I'm literally
at
shaking my
30 and
hand.
28.
They are presently in no man's land and have been in no man's land for like a season and a half now.
I
Um,
was gonna say since 2001.
well, that's true. They've been in no man's land
Yeah, they were
for
way worse.
yes, since the the Tim Donahue series or whatever it was. Is that 2002? I forget.
Yeah, I think it's oh 04 or whatever.
But anyway, I mean, they did briefly have a moment where they were exiting. They were actually attempting to advance from trench to trench to extend the World War One metaphor, but their offense didn't work. They had no or didn't continue to work. They had no defense. But I do think they are finally waving the white flag, and with the De'Aaron Fox trade, I strongly suspect that Sabonis gets moved sooner rather than later. And I think they have no choice. You have to blow it up now. I mean, you are not contending with DeMar DeRozan and
No,
Zach LaVine. I don't even think you're contending in the, cross your fingers, get a sixth seed and a deep playoff run just for fan interest and monetary purposes. Like this is a team that at best is in the play in the West, and at best is headed for a quick first round exit against a complete
yeah.
team like Oklahoma or Denver or somebody like that. So
I was
there is
gonna say
no
if you trade Sabonis, like I feel for some weird reason he would end up on Utah, but then I figured out why I would
because
associate him with
he's
Utah.
white.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think probably.
but he's off-white. I don't think the Utahns count anybody from like
Oh
Southern
God, no.
Europe. So they
Well,
have
I do think Utah's
supplanted.
gonna start buying soon, for what it's
I don't know
worth.
if
I
Utah
really
has
do.
any kind of plan, to be honest. But yeah, the Kings, they're in no man's land. I think it's time to blow it up. It sucks. Rebuilding sucks. And as you talked about, it takes years.
Takes
Tanking
forever,
sucks.
but
But like, you do
this
not want
ain't
to
it.
be, you do not want to be the Atlanta Hawks. You just don't.
Well, you want flippable assets, and I don't think DeMar DeRozan is flippable for very long, and you're not going anywhere with him.
Yeah,
So it's a
exactly.
really bad place to be because
Yeah. And
those assets
they did
are
not
not
get anywhere
flippable.
near enough with the De'Aaron Fox. It was a bad trade. They should have gone for picks or developmental players. They were trying to do a band-aid fix with Zach LaVine. I just
Yeah,
think
it's not good vision, is all I
nope,
can say.
nope.
It's just not it's not
It's spinning your
giving.
wheels in place, and that's the worst
Yeah.
place to be in the NBA. Okay, are we? Yeah, all right. Contenders and pretenders for 300.
Yeah, you need to lead on the Memphis Grizzlies. They are the team I am the most surprised. Oh, I didn't put their stuff in there. They are the team I am the most surprised are as close as they are. Are they
Yeah,
sitting third in the West,
they
I
are
think?
second as we
Second,
speak.
right. They're second in
Um,
the West.
They
Um,
are well, they're tied with Denver right now. And I don't know how tiebreakers work in
well,
the
Denver's
NBA,
winning
but
64, 62 against Milwaukee, so they might not be for long. We'll see. But yeah, they are second in the West.
yeah. So the Grizzlies are weird. I mean, the Ja has not been good this year. He's still not fully healthy. I think we've discussed extensively that the suspension and then the lost year to the shoulder may have permanently screwed him up. And they're still dealing with a lot of injuries. I mean, GG Jackson does not look anything like he did last year. I don't think they're getting anything from Luke Kennard. They traded Jake LaRavia, I think, but they also got rid of Marcus Smart, which ended up being
Yeah,
addition by subtraction. Marcus is cooked,
yeah, it
unfortunately.
is.
But meanwhile, Jaren Jackson has taken a big step forward as an offensive player. He's still very good defensively.
Triple J.
Desmond Bain, I
Always
think
good. A fantasy
he's always
god
good.
a few years
The
ago.
scoring is down, but they don't need him to score as much. Aldama has really broken out as like a solid fourth guy.
Yep.
And then their rookies have been great. Jalen Wells is probably going to be rookie of the year as a second round pick, which never happens. Edie, I will concede I was wrong about.
Yeah,
If
so
he
was I. I
stays,
don't think I liked him either.
no, well, because he started shooting three, sort of. I mean, he takes 1 3 a game, but he's shooting at a 35% clip. That's what you want from a 7'5" guy who's playing the Steven Adams role. Um, yeah, I mean, they just if I've actually seen rumors that that they are considering trading John the offseason because they can win without
Good.
him, which would be
That's
interesting.
where I was gonna go a
But like, are they
little.
a contender this year? I just don't know. They don't have that deep playoff experience. They're not good defensively, which is not the Grizzlies' reputation. I mean, they're going to have the worst opponent point per game of any team in the playoffs. And I think right now it's third worst in the West behind New Orleans and Utah, which are the two worst teams in the West. I
Yeah.
mean, nobody else is even really nobody else contending except for Denver's really giving up as many points. And some of that's pace, I know, but they're other than Jackson, I mean, they're not really a good defensive team, which and
What
again,
I'll
they
say,
rely on rookies a lot, which contributes, but it's not the grit and grind Grizzlies that we're used to. And I don't think they'll be upset in the first round, but I don't see them making a Western Conference Finals run either.
I think they could. I don't think they will, but I think they could. I think that would be, I think even getting to that second round is huge for them because this is kind of the team when we're talking about these massive rebuilds. Yeah, I mean, it might take forever for the Grizzlies to break through, and they might be a major couple of trades away, but they do have a base of foundation. The question is Ja the star you build around, or can you flip Ja into something real, like a real star, either a short-term rental older guy who you could win
Well,
now
I
with
was
those
wondering, like,
pieces
can
around,
you
or a
get
young guy?
Kevin Durant with Ja? Like,
Such a
can
good idea.
I think you can do that? I mean, and I don't think that would
I
even be like the worst idea for the Suns if they're trying to accelerate the rebuild,
The
assuming
Suns
Ja
just
ever
need to
comes
do something.
back. Yeah, I was actually are we going back to the screen? I don't know if you have anything else
Yeah,
to say because I'm
I don't.
looking in. I'm actually going to specifically look for the Suns in
Okay, you
no
can
man's
hunt them.
land. Are they under 400? Are the Suns there? Who do we got?
That's the Pacers.
Do
Do
we
you
really
want to
have
just talk about the
4 minutes
Suns?
on the Pacers? Do you
You
have
want
the
to?
Suns? Well, wait.
No,
Do you
I
have the
don't. You want
Suns?
to
You don't
just
have the
skip the
Suns.
Pacers
Yeah,
because it would
no.
be very funny.
The Pacers, even when they're good, are never interesting. I mean, I guess Halliburton's interesting, but
I
like,
think
I don't.
disrespecting the Pacers this much would be worthwhile. Go
Yeah, I
ahead,
just
let's
don't care
talk
about the
about the
Pacers.
Suns.
Yeah, so the Suns. I mean,
Violating our cardinal rule, by the way, that we did not need to talk
talk
more
more about
about
the
the
Suns.
Phoenix Suns.
Well,
Go
our
ahead.
instincts were right. Tyus Jones was irrelevant. Ryan Dunn has turned out to be not anywhere near productive enough offensively to balance his otherwise good defense. They're giving Bol serious minutes now,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
never a
always sort
good
of
sign.
a white flag. I think they are currently in no man's land. However,
Oh, and
Kevin
we do have
Durant,
breaking news from Windy that
oh,
KD, Windy is confidently saying the Suns are trading him in the offseason
well,
6 hours ago.
where is this coming from?
NBC Sports Bay Area in California.
Oh, this is something Windhor said. Well, I was going to
Yeah.
say, Durant is a movable asset. I don't care how old he is. I know he's fragile. I don't, how's his defense? It's like iffy, right?
No,
He's still
whatever.
averaging 27 points per game, and he's still a very productive shooter. I mean, right now his splits are 53, 40, 82. We talked about this. This is a team. If there is a team that is legitimately a piece away, and that piece is a high volume scorer, like how can't you see Durant fitting on the Thunder? Can't you see him fitting on the Magic? I mean, God knows the
I cannot
war.
see Durant fitting on the Thunder for what's worth. I don't think
But
that's
I've
a
been
good
saying
idea.
for a while the Thunder need a guy who can give them 30 points in a game when Shea's having an off night because they don't have that guy. And Durant can, and you can certainly
Uh,
hide him defensively on that team. I mean, I
I don't
still,
know if I agree. I can't
well,
really argue the point. I just want to say that I don't know if I agree.
we're not talking about the Thunder, we're not about the Suns. I think they are going. Ishbia is like a weird dude, and I can't totally figure out what he thinks the team should be. But the move is you trade Kevin Durant, and if you have to poison pill Bradley Beal with with a first round pick just to get his contract on. That's what you have to do. And you rebuild around Devin Booker, who,
Who
I mean,
has
I don't
a
even know if you
jersey
rebuild.
on sale for
I don't even know if
50%
you
off?
rebuild about Devin Booker. I mean, he's better than he was earlier in his career. I mean, he's a little more efficient, although he's been down this year. But he's 28. You know, are you going to reload quickly enough while he's still in his prime? I mean, I sort of think you blow it all up. You trade Booker, you trade Durant, and if
I
you're
think they're
stuck
doing it.
with yeah, and if you're stuck with Beal's contract, that's just how shit goes. I mean, look at the Wizards with Jordan Poole.
I don't know
But
if
I
you're
mean,
watching the screen, but I think I'm breaking news as I shop online.
you're breaking
Um,
shopping news that Devin Booker has his jersey on sale.
on the official team store, it's 50%
Oh,
off.
it's a so you think this is a sign that
That's the
they're
team
100%
shop.
going to trade Booker?
Maybe they feel like they have a little too much stock in those old D-Book jerseys they made. I don't know.
Man,
This caught wind first. We have to credit Alabama.com and
Alabama.com, yeah,
their Clear AI article by Andrew Parsad. But
not
that
a real
is,
person.
well, oh yeah, well, I thought AI. It could be AI.com because of the L. Could be an I.
It's actually AOL.com. They just misspelled
Oh,
it.
oh.
All right, but yeah,
But
The Suns have hope insofar. Who was the other hopeless team we talked about a second ago? The Suns'
are the
tradable
Kings.
assets are better than the Kings' tradable assets. I'll say that much. And
Pacers are in
that,
fourth place, by the way, which is
yeah,
insane. And I
well,
realize that's why I put them in there
that's the East for you.
because I needed someone to explain how that's possible. We have about 10 minutes left,
Okay, so
somewhere like that.
let's do a potpourri of the 100 category. So laughing at Sixers and Mavs for 100.
Requiem for Anthony Davis. I
He
feel
has died,
bad for AD. No, but I feel bad for him.
do
I
you?
think this sucks. Yeah, I do. I like AD enough. I don't love him. He's not one of my guys, but I like him. And I
Well,
do think he was given an unfair shake in the trade for everyone
he
because
does seem pretty
the
mad
trade
about it.
sucked.
He came
He
out and
should be
said
mad.
he doesn't believe that um that nobody knew. I mean, I think he feels like people
He
knew he
thinks
was
Braun knew.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do too.
So he's
Um,
pretty mad.
he should be mad because his name got really dragged, and I think a piece of his legacy is dragged by this as, oh, this is the worst trade ever. And like it is, but
It's a bad
there
trade.
there was no guarantee that he would immediately get hurt, you know.
I know. That's the
That
part
was
that I think
truly fate because he hasn't been as injury ridden as people say. None of those
no.
injuries were all that reoccurring.
And
So
it's not an
truly
Embiid
unlucky.
thing where the way he plays gets him hurt. It's just
No.
bad luck. Current award odds for 100.
Coach of the
Oh
year.
man, this is the
Is it Kenny Atkinson? Because
yeah,
I
I
kind
think
of like JV
easily.
Bickerstaff too.
It's Atkinson easy. I know what Bickerstaff is doing in Detroit's very impressive. And it's weird. I mean, the Cavs divorced Bickerstaff, and it was the best move for both team or both parties. I mean, now Bickerstaff has turned the Pistons around, whereas Kenny Atkinson has unlocked that sort of two guards, two towers lineup
Yeah.
that Bickerstaff couldn't quite figure out. And Mobley has just taken a massive leap that Bickerstaff wasn't getting him there. But I mean, look, you don't go from like middle of the East to the best record in the league, and I think an outside shot at
Yeah.
winning. Well, they're not going to win 70, but they can win 65. And
No, if
yeah,
they
I mean,
win whatever the new cup is named for winning regular season, which I like. I know everyone else hates that kind of award, but I like it. If they win that over the Thunder, it is Atkinson in a walk. But I don't know. I watched a lot of the Pistons last night. I really like what Bickerstaff did. That team plays
I get what
super
you're
well.
saying, but like these kinds of awards like almost always go to the coach that had the most surprising season. And I think the Cavs still have that narrative over the Pistons.
Yeah, I guess
So
that's kind of my personal argument is I mean, I didn't pick the Cavs to dominate like they have, so I guess they
no.
are still the most surprising, but I
Uh,
liked them as a team a lot.
okay. Contenders and pretenders 100. I mean,
This was
what's there to
just gonna
talk
be me
about?
it was gonna be me laughing for like a
Yeah, it's
minute.
fair.
They're beating Denver right now. They can play. I have apologized to Dame. Um, the Celtics could screw up. Like the Bucks are a contender only in this sense to me. The Celtics and Cavs could both screw up
I
something
think you're
weird.
right. I mean, the
And
Bucks could
they could
catch.
have the who was it? The Mavs path where they kind of catch fire, some teams screw up and then they get absolutely eaten alive in the finals.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's possible. And then what do they trade Giannis to the Miami Heat for like Bam
God.
Adebayo?
I don't think Pat Riley's capable of making a trade. I think he's completely washed.
He does seem really out of it. But yeah, okay. I mean, I would say I'm sticking with them as pretenders, but like I think an Eastern Conference Finals run is plausible. Like I have more respect for them in that aspect than like the Pacers or even the Knicks at this point. So,
Well, the Knicks are on here.
okay, hope or no man's land for 100.
Houston Rockets are 37 and
Oh,
22 in fourth place. We already
I think
talked a little
hope.
bit about the rebuild.
I think unquestionably there's hope. However, they need to add more three-point shooting, whether they want
Mhm.
to or not. And I think they need to add another pure baller.
Yeah,
Jalen
I think
Green's
I wanted to
fine at it,
criticize
but
Fred Van Fleet in general.
go ahead. Go guns blazing on
Oh,
Fred VanVleet.
like it's a complete failure, and I was kind of left holding the bag on him this year, where I thought he would be really good in
I
Houston.
he turned it around for one season and then he just sucks this year. I know he's dealt with
14.6, three
but
point nine boards, 5.8 assists. Come on,
yeah.
man. That's not what I
I've
wanted.
seen people theorize that they're going to decline the option then sign him to like a smaller, longer term deal. And I don't see it.
I
I don't
don't
see it. I
hate that.
think I don't know. I think he's already 30. I think it's a young
He's
team.
31.
Yeah, you just need to move on from him. And frankly, I'd probably move on from Dylan Brooks too. But I mean, I guess he's been contributing more this year than Van Fleet has. But I think
Oh, and
there's hope.
happy belated birthday to him. His birthday was two
Happy
days ago.
birthday,
He just
Dylan the
turned
villain.
31.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean there's hope. I mean they have a solid young core. They have I think a decent amount of picks left over the next few years. Although there's some weirdness with like pick swaps and this and that. I can't keep track of everything. And I
Two
think
also in the news. Go ahead. Go ahead.
they have assets to trade for the missing piece, whoever that is. Like they can move Jabari Smith, and I don't think they'll lose sleep over it. I don't think they should move Sengun. I know they've whispered it,
No,
but I think
I
he's
like
too
Sengun
he's
too
yeah, I
much.
do too. I mean, I would think like
I honestly
Jabari
really like the
Smith,
Rockets.
Cam Whitmore's movable, maybe Tari Eason, but you really that needs to be like a Anthony Edwards is on the table if you're moving Smith and Eason because that's a big chunk of your D right there. And Green and Sengun don't play defense at all. They're sort of relying on their wing players to play D. So
Two pieces in the news. One piece of news, I thought they were just losers, how Van Fleet viewed his teammates. And so
ouch.
that's a great title. And what's
Where's
the Rockets' plan for Amon Thompson once Fred Van Fleet returns? Who
the plan is
cares?
to keep playing on men. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
like
How much time do
we
we have
have
left
one
here?
minute, so pick a category and we'll finish on it.
All right, I'm in fight next. Whatever.
What one?
200.
200. Who did I have? Oh shit! I forgot I did that one.
Yes, yes.
This
He
was
needs to
where I was gonna
establish that
criticize.
he is the top dog on the team now. He needs to fight Fred Van Vliet in practice.
That wasn't
Amen
planned,
needs to
but there we go.
do the what is it, the Captain Phillips thing where he goes, I'm the captain now. He's the point guard
Yeah, good
now.
actor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
he does. He needs to just take this
yep,
guy out who thought they
yep.
were just
Just body
losers.
him. Just body him. Okay. Last Fred Van Vliet 500. No, 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 please. And Wemby might be literally dead.
This was gonna
No.
be a case for if he's gonna cook to the level of MVP.
I mean, I can see him fouling Wemby. I don't want him to. Wemby might have died. Like after the Spurs lied about Popovich's health,